What's up, guys? In the works. And I've been grinding this weekend through the double XP because they have double XP yet again. And I've been working on some service stars. And I ran out of ammo on a match I was playing, and I picked up a kit that had an ACR with silencer and foregrip. And I was like, well, this sounds absolutely ridiculous because ever since the patch, I have not been a huge fan of the suppressor, but I have been looking for that class that just really excels at being, that little sneaky engineer class, because I like being a sneaky engineer because it lets you sneak up behind tanks, it lets you be a little bit more effective, and staying off radar is really good on big maps like this, Caspian Border, Karg Island, any of those big spread out maps where being sneaky can have its advantages. And I had this ACR and I was toying around with it. I'm like, man, this is really effective. I really do enjoy this. Now the kit you see me running right now doesn't have the foregrip like the one I picked up, I should say. Rather, it just has the suppressor and the holographic. And I was like, okay, look at the factors here. What makes the ACRW, or ACWR, I should say? That's a tricky word to say because it's not actually a real weapon. The ACR, we'll just call it the ACR. What makes the ACR with suppressor a good, what makes it good? Because I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, the ACR notoriously has a very consistent damage. It doesn't really drop off a lot. It's a 20 damage to 16.7, so you're only looking at, what is that, 3.7 drop off, 3.3 drop off. So it doesn't really have a whole lot of drop off. So it's not a huge factor. In most situations, you're looking at a 6-bullet kill. Very, very rarely, unless they're within 8 meters, are you ever going to get that, coveted 5-bullet kill with the ACR. And even then, I found that the ACR is kind of glitched, that it always seems to be a 6-bullet kill unless you're right up in their face, even if you're within the 8 meters, which the game files claim the drop off starts at. So the ACR, it's pretty consistent. You always have that 6-bullet kill. And I was thinking about that. I was like, man, that really makes it a good candidate for the suppressor. In most situations, the ACR is going to actually benefit more from having the suppressor. There's really no reason to never have it. Since it always is going to be, 16.7 damage across the board, you might as well just keep consistent damage and run the suppressor, and it'll keep you off radar. Now, I've always ran it with, the laser sight because I like the hip fire. Hip firing has always been part of my game. That's just, something I can't get past. I've always been a hip fire. So naturally, I would run the laser sight with it. But I found that even with suppressor, the ACR has pretty consistent hip fire. It still doesn't really get penalized too much from using the suppressor over the laser sight. So needless to say, this has been a pretty awesome setup for me. I've been really, really happy with the results of it. Like I said, I have gotten my mastery tag now with the ACR, so I do know how it handles. It handles very oddly. It takes a while to really get the ACR down because it does shoot a little bit different than the other weapons. Granted, it does have a smaller magazine, and a lot of people don't like the fact that the ACR only has a 26+1, so you're looking at 27 rounds per magazine. A lot of people get annoyed by that, but another thing you have to keep in mind is it reloads faster than any other engineer choice. It reloads at 1.8 seconds, which is up there with the M16. I think the M4 has a pretty quick reload as well, so it is very swift on the reload, so it's not really that big of a factor, at least in my eyes. I think the fact that you can actually now have a choice that the suppressor works well on, I think that's really cool. And I'm surprised I didn't really notice this setup earlier, to be honest with you guys, because I feel like it's just sitting there right in your face, so obvious that the ACR would be one of the best engineer candidates for having a silencer on it. It's pretty consistent. I don't really have any problems with it. I found that the ACR with silencer and the ACR with just naked or even with heavy barrel performs pretty much the same. I don't really have a whole lot of problems with it. So that's something to really consider when you're choosing a weapon. If you've been looking for a place to kind of put the ACR, I think I think it definitely excels at being a silenced weapon. I think that's what DICE put it in the game for, honestly. I think it just took me a while to really realize that and really open its full potential because it is a very, very strong weapon. At range, it's going to outperform all the other engineer weapons, and I think that's I think that just speaks volumes for how well it performs with the silencer. There's really no reason to not run it. If you run it without silencer and you run it with silencer, you're going to get the same effect. Even though it's going to drop off much faster with the suppressor on there, you're not going to notice that many, differences, to be honest with you guys. So at long range, it still performs just as well as it would with the heavy barrel. So try it out. I think you guys will enjoy it if you've been looking for that suppressor class that really just gets the job done. But I'm going to be posting some more full-length gameplays here in the future. I know a lot of you guys don't like me chopping up gameplay, and I tend to do that a lot just because games get super long. You know, often if I'm trying to make a point, I will chop up gameplay from time to time. So I will be posting some live gameplay. Let me know if that sounds interesting to you guys. Would you like to see full-length live gameplays where I actually show you the entire game with live commentary? Let me know, because I'm looking for your feedback on that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Try this class out. It is very effective, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.